Welcome inside the show, the one and only Mahalia. Good morning, sunshine.
Good morning. How are you?
I am doing great. Now, listen, I have to tell you this. Anybody with a name like Mahalia must be talented, right?
I
You got the
agree.
shoes to follow, girl. And I really did dig the song that you had out that we played here on Magic not long ago with the little Cameron hook, right?
Yeah.
Now, tell us a little bit how you got started. It seemed like that song just popped up, especially for me. I looked up and I was like, who is that singing that song right there? So, how'd you get your start?
I really started writing songs when I was about 12. I That was the first time that I picked up a guitar and I started singing and writing songs. But I would say that I started really as a songwriter. Like I never really saw myself as a singer, which I think was just down to confidence and my age and not really being that developed, I would say, in my voice.
Uh-huh.
But it was kind of so the story is that I got signed to Asylum Atlantic Records when I was 13.
Wow.
Yeah, so I was super young and I was kind of just developing through that time. So I'm now 23, so I've been with the same label for 10 years. And
Wow.
so through my teens, I was going to London to do sessions, and then I was doing school. So it kind of felt like I was like working two full-time jobs.
Wow.
Um, but and then I would say it kind of really felt like it started for me when I was about 19, and I put out one of my first singles, which was called Sober.
Uh-huh.
And that was the one that kind of blew up online. And it was a Twitter handle from the States. It was a guy who like tweeted like his favorite videos, and it was just this video that I'd done for a show called The Colors Show, and he tweeted it, and then it just kind of started going, like the numbers were going up, and my following was going up, my streams, and that
Mm-hmm.
was where it started. And then that's when I started touring. That was when that kind of allowed me to be able to then go out and do shows and be selling out venues. And that was like the point where I realized that, oh my gosh, I think this might happen. um and then when I was kind of in that year, yeah, so still 19, I started writing my debut album. And that's what had What You Did on with LMA, and that's what had the Cameron sample in. So and then it kind of took a new height, because then What You Did was seeing great success in the States.
Mm-hmm.
And then that's the first time that I came out there to do shows. So it was like, it's been a slow and steady growth, and it's developed over years. But yeah, I really kind of feel like now, after 10 years, I can see where that came from and just kind of where the time came from, really.
Now we can add Grammy nominated to your
Yes.
title as well. Now, when you got the news that you were nominated, it was for Best R&B Performance
Yeah.
on Jacob Collier's song. How
Yeah.
did you feel? Because you're younger than my kids, right? So it's like, how did you feel at such a young age being nominated for a Grammy?
I mean, one thing I do know is that nobody can really prepare you for that feeling. I mean, so I've just turned 23. So when I found out, it was the end of last year. So I was 22, and I was literally just sat in my house. I was just sat on my sofa, and I live alone as well. So I didn't really have
Hmm.
anyone to like speak to. And I kept getting texts saying congratulations.
You're
And I
like, what?
was,
Huh?
yeah, like I was honestly like, what is going on? And I was, and then in the end, I think I responded to one person saying, congratulations for what? And then they sent me the link of the Grammy noms, and I couldn't
Outstanding.
believe it. I just like,
Outstanding.
and I called all my family, and my parents cried, and we were all just kind of on this like group FaceTime call,
I
just
bet they're
kind of
super proud.
going, so proud. So yeah, it was crazy. Like, I
Now,
still find it.
how has it been for you now? I know you said you live alone.
Yes.
How has it been for you now as an artist going through the pandemic? How has that landscape changed for you?
The pandemic, I think, was probably the strangest part of this whole journey. I think so. Just before it, I'd been on tour for about 2 years. So I'd kind of been out of the house for like essentially all of that time. I hadn't spent a lot of time at home in London, so I wasn't really accustomed to that way of living. Like, I'd never been at home longer than a week. And I'd gotten used to planes and doing shows and hotel rooms, and so being back in my house and like just having to do like all the normal stuff that I already know how to do, like cook and clean and wash my clothes, like all of that stuff, which I obviously know how to do because I'm because I'm an adult, was just like was just kind of reality again. And I'm being honest when I say I loved it, and I'm still loving it. And like, I got to reconnect with all my friends, and I got to spend time in a city that I didn't really know, because when I moved here, everything was already beginning. So it was strange, but it was also, it felt like a little bit of a gift to be able to kind of relive a bit of my late teenage, early adult years that I missed. Yeah.
Your rendition of Peaches is out of this world.
Thank you.
You know, when you look at the video, you know, that thing's got over what, like 4 million views already?
I think so. Is that the live lounge, the live version?
Yes. With the fellas in there with the guitars, and they were getting it too. And you, girl, that is off the hook.
Thank you.
Now, if you could work with anybody, you've worked with a bunch of people, obviously.
Yeah.
But if you could handpick somebody that you wanted to work with, either still around or in a past life, who would that be?
Oh, I have a long list. And it's interesting that you mentioned Peaches, because I think I was just talking about this, but I think the top of my list right now would be Daniel Caesar. I just remember when Fraudian came out and I first heard it, I was just so I was so in love with his storytelling and the way that he, as a listener, I felt like he took us all on a journey through a relationship, and like and through love, and I'm most definitely a storyteller, and I love listening to that. And I just think he's so special, and like, his voice is obviously glorious, and it just the way that he is able to glide on a record, I would love to be around that, and I would love to one day sing with him, I think.
Now, you really did it with LMA. I love that song. Whenever
you're
ready. And I looked at the video, right? And y'all really took it back, because in that video a little bit, you kind of feel like an Aaliyah vibe, just a little bit.
Yeah.
And you know, and the song is outstanding. Tell us about your new song.
So the new song, whenever sorry, you're talking about what you did with LMA. That was the older one.
Yes. But yes, that's the one that had the Aaliyah vibe. Your new song, Whenever You're Ready. Yes.
Well, first of all, going back to that one, I love that song, and I love that video, and that Aaliyah vibe with the black and white in the car park, like, always felt iconic anyway, and to kind of try and recreate that together was amazing. But I've always taken inspiration from older videos that I love, particularly that like late 90s, early 2000s era, just because that's kind of what I remember as a kid. And with Whenever You're Ready, it was a similar thing. Like, after we'd written the song and then we were thinking about a video, Say My Name, Destiny's Child was the total kind of point of focus for me. And like, I love that video. I've always loved that video, how they use color and they color block, and they have like the red room, and then the girls are in red, and then the white and the blue. And I just think it's really special to look at. So I kind of wanted to try and recreate that in my own way. And that was how the video came about. But I love it. And I really love that aesthetic, that kind of, that like late 90s, early 2000s aesthetic. And I think it's a lovely thing to do when you find inspiration from something and then you pay homage to it. I think that's a really fun way of creating something new as an artist, you know.
Now, in 5 years, where do you see yourself?
Well, I really hope in 5 years I'll still be making music. That's for sure.
We hope you
Firstly,
do. We know
um,
you will.
yeah. I guess I always find it hard to answer that question, only because I kind of I've never really I never really had milestones or goals when I was younger. I just kind of I'd always kind of known what I wanted to do in that moment, and so I went with that. And I think that was why when I was a kid, I was into so many things. I wanted to do acting, and then I wanted to be a dancer, and then I wanted to be. There was a moment when I was doing track, and I wanted to be a runner.
Uh-oh. What'd you run in
I
track?
know I run 200 meters.
Hey, that's my race,
Yeah,
girl.
I love that race. It's just it's to me it's the best one because you get to go
It
around the
is.
bend and then do the yeah. I used to love it.
And then look, what lane did you run in?
I would always be second on the inside.
Now, I was in like either 4 or 5, so it always gave me great pleasure coming around the curve, and the people that was
And
always
then
in
go
like 7 or 8, I'm like, I'm gonna get you. But you know, that's like the competition spirit that you need even throughout the industry. So I
yeah,
think that carried over very well for you and
for
gave
sure.
you,
I agree. But I think that's why I think because I never had a set goal. And then when I found music, I thought, wow, I really like doing this and I feel
mhm,
like I'm good at it. So I would say in 5 years, yeah, I hope I'm amazing. I hope I'm making music. I hope that I would see more success, and I would hope that my music would be able to reach more people. Um and do you know what? I really hope I'm happy, because this pandemic has definitely shown me lows that I probably have never seen before.
oh yeah.
Yeah, and I've seen that with everyone. I've seen it whether it be online or just through like people talking or even through my friends. I've seen people really find it hard this past year and a half to just feel okay,
Yes.
let alone all the other stuff, like so many of my close friends, family took such a crazy financial hit this past year and a half. I did as well. I I would love to in 5 years be in a place where I'm still making music and I feel great, because I definitely, if there's one thing that I know this past year and a half, I'm not very good at being sad. I'm not very good at that. And
Mhm.
I'm not I'm not the best at dealing with things. And I think a lot of that comes from the fact that I probably hide from my emotions. When I'm in pain, I write music to feel better.
Mhm.
And this year I didn't have that. I had to really kind of sit with that and understand my heart and my feelings. So I would love to be doing what I'm doing and still be able to feel great.
Wonderful. Now, listen, we really want to thank you for making good music because, as you alluded to, throughout the pandemic, we needed it. We needed
I
it,
know.
and
Yeah.
to me, music is what feelings sound like.
Yeah.
So, it's so wonderful to see such a young artist like yourself doing really big things. And we
Thank
couldn't be
you.
more proud of you here at Magic
Thank you so much.
101.3. We play the old school music, but every now and again, there's one artist that slips through there and, kind of does the thing. And your song is definitely one of those songs that carry over to different genres, different generations. And it's amazing to see, we're proud to see that. And like I said, with a name like yours, you have big shoes to fill. So you are walking with grace, my dear. And we wish you many more blessings and continued success.
Thank you, KJ.
You are so welcome. Ladies and gentlemen, the one and only Mahalia inside the KJ's Cafe on Magic 101.3. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.